humans on this random planet called Earth. My name is Zelda and I mostly make fashion content. Throughout lockdown, I started redoing my room. So for today's video, I thought I would show you some DIY Tumblr aesthetic room decor I made. But without further ado, let's just jump into this video. For this first Tumblr room decoration, you're just going to need some flowers, some garden shears, some twine, and also some empty alcohol bottles. You could use any other bottles, but I like using alcohol bottles because they're free and we just have them laying around the house, and also they usually have fancier designs, so they often look quite pretty. The first thing to do is just to cut off the ends of any sort of flowers that you want to be using, as often if you take them out of a vase, they're just kind of gross at the ends, and you might also want to wash them or rinse them in general if they have any sort of gross gooey stuff on them. After you've done that, you just want to take some twine and tie it around the flowers so that you can hang them up somewhere to dry. Once your flowers have all dried, you are just going to need the alcohol bottles, which hopefully at this point are already clean, but if not, you can just use some regular warm water and rinse them out. I would not recommend putting them in the dishwasher because it often removes any sort of tags on the bottle, unless that is your goal. But either way, once you have your bottles, you also want to lay out any sort of flowers you plan on using, or at least this is what I like doing, just because it makes it easier to create combinations when you know all of the materials that you can possibly work with. At this point, basically all you do is put together flowers in a nice arrangement that you like, and put them in the alcohol bottle, which you're basically using as a vase. Something that I like looking out for is that the colors of the alcohol bottle match the colors of the flowers I'm using, as it's just overall much more satisfying if there's color coordination, I guess. Obviously, this is a super easy and super cheap Pinterest room decoration, and that is exactly what I love about it because it gives you a way to always have flowers in your room without having to permanently buy new flowers, which is exactly why my room is full of these.
Girl, you need to know it's life, mate. Sometimes that we fight, at least we're sitting side by side.
Was really mainly inspired by the aspect that I wanted to hang up a bunch of my pictures. In addition to the photos, I then also took some stickers that I also had around and some other print type objects. I ended up stashing a bunch of them in here already, and then I went ahead and sorted them a little bit by color. So up there I have a bit of a green and red section, and then as you move down it's orange and then yellow. And then as we move across, we move into purple and pink. And then up there it's blue. As you can see, I still have a lot of work to do here. In any case, I finished the first half of the arrangement and I will move more into the blue and purple / pink side of the arrangement. If you do not feel like hanging up your own photos, you could also alternatively use Pinterest photos or something and just go and print those out. Or I know that things like Target sell photo arrangements for you that actually have already got a set of pictures that are already kind of color coordinated. And also I wanted to say that if you plan on hanging up Polaroids, be aware that your Polaroids will fade over time because of the sunlight. So what I did is use some of the Polaroids I like less so that the ones I really love I can store over a longer period of time. And also I went ahead and scanned all of my photos so that I have a copy of them. I also have this brochure type thing that Amelia sent me when I ordered my dress from them. This has some really cute prints in it, and so I thought I would cut that up and use some of these prints on my wall as well. Okay, I am back. It's definitely been more than a few days, and I also got my wisdom teeth removed, so if you're wondering what these like massive bruises are and why I can potentially not talk entirely properly yet, that is the reason why. But I finally finished the layout of the pictures. We are going to hang this up with Patafix now and try and aim to keep this layout the same. Realistically, it's probably not going to work entirely, but we're going to try our best. And My mom, who's an artist, said that I should try and hang this up in an X pattern because apparently that's the way to go. I'm just going to start at this corner and try and work my way that way. Okay, so I clearly did not get very far yesterday, but I'm just going to continue today. For this next Pinterest room decoration, you are going to need 1 flower, 2 frames, 2 clips, and some garden shears to cut the flowers, but you could alternatively also use scissors to cut the flowers if it's easier. The first thing you need to do is take the garden shears and cut the flower so that the flower fits within the frame size, and then you are going to take the flower and place it into a notebook and set a bunch of books on top so that it can dry. This is such a classic thing that probably every kindergartner has done, so I'm sure you know how to do it, but otherwise all you want to do is just put some weights on top. Once you've let the flowers dry for a few days, you want to remove the books or any weight that you put on top, and then you can see that the flowers are already pretty dry. I decided to do several different flowers so that I had options and could choose the one that I liked the best, but I did end up going with the flower that I initially cut. Once you have your flowers, you want to just open the frame and pretty much take out the glass and just remove the rest. You won't need the frame itself. All you want is the glass. And the reason that I recommend buying a frame though is because usually the frame as a whole thing is cheaper than buying glass itself. I don't know why that is, but it tends to be cheaper, so I recommend you just buy a whole frame because that's the way it is, I guess. You can either keep the frame if you want to keep it, or you can just throw it in the trash. But either way, on top of the glass panel, you are just going to place the flower and then place the second glass panel carefully on top. You really want to watch out that you don't leave too many fingerprints on there, but if you do get fingerprints on there, you can always just use a clean tissue or some glass cleaner to clean off any fingerprints or gross other stuff that you've gotten on top. Once you've placed the second glass panel on top, you want to use the 2 clips, and my intelligent self somehow managed to lose the 2 pretty clips that I found earlier, so I ended up having to use these black clips. I still have not found my other clips, but I guess it also works pretty well. Could have been worse. Either way, for the clips, I would recommend you use as small clips as you can find that still hold both glass pieces together, as we are going to hang this up against the wall, and generally speaking, the closer it is to the wall, the more stable it is. So just choose small clips. For this canned flowers Pinterest room decoration, you are going to want some cans with the labels removed, some dirt, some washi tape that has some sort of cute pattern that you like, some plants, and also some garden gloves, as well as a pair of scissors just to cut anything. The first thing you want to do is take your can and the washi tape and then carefully wrap the washi tape around the edge of your can. Typically these cans are super sharp, which is why I decided to wrap the tape around it so that it would sort of protect you against cutting yourself. But obviously be careful that in the process of wrapping it around, you don't actually cut yourself because it can be quite sharp and it kind of hurts. So be careful about that. Unfortunately, this didn't work out as well as I was hoping because the tape that I was using was not very sticky and therefore it started kind of to peel off. Therefore, I recommend that whenever you choose your tape, just try and make sure you're using a pretty sticky tape so that it doesn't come off. What I ended up doing to try and fix this problem is sticking several strips of tape on the inside to try and hold down the tape, but it also didn't work very well, which is why I ultimately switched to the other tape. Either way, once you're done with the tape, you want to fill the can roughly halfway with dirt and then use the garden glove to push down all of the dirt so that it's nice and compact. Once you're finished pushing down the dirt, you want to grab your plants and take off any excess dirt that was there previously. As you can see, both of my plants clearly needed to be replanted because they were just growing wild roots in their little pots, which is why I wanted to replant them. But once you've removed any of the dirt, you just want to plant it into the center of your can, and then I like to add more dirt on top and push the dirt down so that it's all nice and compact and my plant looks cute in the little center. To be honest, this is such an easy Tumblr room decoration, and I almost thought about not including it in the video because it's just so easy, and honestly, I feel like I'm not really adding much information to this. However, I love the way that it looks, and I haven't really seen a lot of people have these around their house, so I just wanted to share that if you've never seen it before, and I hope this wasn't boring for you, I guess.
For this last DIY Pinterest room decor, I figured I would make a Polaroid line, and I know just about everyone has seen someone make one of these before. That is why I'm placing this at the end of the video. I used to have a Polaroid line right here. However, I decided to take it down a little over a year ago just because I kind of wanted to change it and I got a little bored of some of the pictures, which is why I'm going to replace it today and make a slightly different one because I had another idea that I thought might be a nice addition to the Polaroid line.
What you're going to need for this are some fairy lights, some string, some Polaroid pictures, a box that you don't mind destroying or any sort of newspaper, some clothing clips, some spray paint, a face mask, or ideally a spray paint mask, but I didn't have one, some glitter, and finally I would also recommend that you use a latex glove for the spray paint as you don't really want to get spray paint on yourself, as well as some paper that you want to place under the box that again is just used as extra protection so that you don't get the spray paint everywhere. Once you have everything, you just want to take your box or newspaper or whatever you're using and place the clothing clips on top of it, and then you just need to shake your spray paint can and spray away. Follow the instructions on your spray paint can obviously, but I'm pretty sure for the most part you should just spray from a distance. I clearly definitely followed those rules, but whatever. Either way, while the spray paint is still wet, you want to take the glitter and sprinkle the glitter on top of the clothing clips so that the spray paint dries with the glitter on top and basically fixes the glitter to the pin. This won't 100% work and you're still gonna have some glitter fall off and whatever, but I find it a useful method to basically glue glitter on top of things. Next, you're going to take your twine and make 2 little loops on either end. Make sure that you measure out your twine so that the length is appropriate for whatever surface you're trying to cover. And then what I like doing is preparing what pictures I like to hang up by laying them out so that I like the arrangement. And I did this by just laying out this string and holding it with 2 books on my bed and then trying to estimate how many photos I could roughly fit on the line. Once I got an arrangement I liked, I just took 2 pins that I got from Target and hung the line up on my wall. And then I took some more clothing clips because I wanted to create a nice little pattern with different colors. Therefore, I also decided to get some red ones and mix it with these pretty gold ones that I made earlier, so that I could have the gold ones at the edges and then the pattern in the center. On my Polaroid wall, I decided to make 3 rows so that I had a variety of pictures. Therefore, I hung up the other 2 lines as well. I did have to readjust these a little bit, but I tried my best to keep the spacing relatively even. For my Polaroid wall, I decided to make 3 rows because that's just kind of the space that I had on this wall that I liked, but you could make more or less if you prefer. Either way, next I just hung up my photos, which obviously took a while, but I did find even cuter clothing clips at the store for €2, so I ended up replacing the other pattern that I was planning on doing with these cute little star ones. I just like the symmetry more with these clips because unfortunately with 3 different colors, the pattern didn't work out quite as nicely, so by just replacing some of the clips, it just made it more symmetrical, and that just made me happier because I like symmetry a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much what I did, and then I just spent a while hanging up pictures. Once I had finished hanging up all the pictures, I just grabbed my fairy lights, and I was not expecting this, but the fairy lights apparently were colorful instead of just white, which wasn't really what I was hoping for, but that's okay, I guess. And I just proceeded to wrap the fairy lights around each of the photos. I tried to ensure that the fairy lights were wrapped relatively evenly so that the light wouldn't appear super intense on one side and then pretty weak on the other side. And then I was done! I don't know, I thought this looked kind of cute in the dark, but again, this is such a basic decoration. I just wanted to do it, and honestly, most of this video is just me filming decoration that I was making for my room anyways, because, I don't know, I thought it would be fun to share, and yeah, I just enjoyed making this, to be honest. And I hope you learned something from this video, I guess. Ta-da! Me being satisfied at 4 in the morning that I have finally finished this project. Yes, 4 in the morning. That is how long it took me, but that's okay.
Those were all of the aesthetic Tumblr inspired room decor ideas I have for you today. I know some of these Pinterest inspired aesthetic room decor ideas are somewhat common, but either way, I hope you enjoyed this Tumblr room makeover video and feel free to check out any of my other content here. Okay, bye!